Why did Ava Holloway disappear in broad daylight? After making a call that wasn't meant to scare anyone. Noon sun over a quiet main street. Cars passing. Life moving. The sidewalk was warm, crowded, ordinary. Ava stepped off the curb with her phone still lit. 10 seconds later, she was gone. No scream, no struggle, no shadow following her. Daylight didn't protect her. They said she was careful. They said this town was safe. But safety doesn't explain why her last call ended mid-sentence. Last known contact, 12:41 p.m. Ava wasn't running. She wasn't meeting anyone in secret. She was headed home. Sun overhead, stores open, people everywhere. Her mother, Denise Holloway, replayed that final call until silence felt louder than answers. Her father, Robert Holloway, walked the same block every morning, staring at faces, searching for a mistake the town refused to admit. Main suspect, unknown. Detective Sean Whitaker arrived before rumors settled. No signs of force, no broken routine, just a normal day with one impossible gap. Then Lillian Moore said something small, almost forgettable, about who Ava spoke to just before she vanished. But one detail didn't add up, because if Ava left willingly, why did her phone stop exactly when the traffic light changed? Who was close enough, in plain sight, to make a daylight disappearance look normal? If Ava wasn't taken by force, why did 3 people describe the same moment differently? A frozen traffic light, faces blurred in the background. Witnesses remembered her standing still. Others swore she kept walking. One person insisted she turned back. Alone. Truth fractured the moment she vanished. Detective Sean Whitaker lined the statements side by side. Same place, same minute, completely different realities. That wasn't panic, that was interference. Witness accounts don't match. Brooke Sanders claimed Ava checked her phone again. Julian Price said Ava smiled at someone off-frame. Megan Foster remembered nothing, except feeling watched afterward. None of them knew each other. None of them agreed. Yet every version erased the same 10 seconds. 10 seconds missing. When Whitaker traced Ava's last call, it wasn't the silence that bothered him. It was the timing. The line went dead before the sentence finished. Like someone else decided the conversation was over. Last call, cut short. Then Nathan Brooks appeared in the records. Not as a suspect, not as a witness, as someone who had been nearby, unlogged, unnoticed, unnamed. The town said coincidence. Whitaker didn't, because coincidences don't rewrite memory. Why did everyone see Ava differently, except the one person who never spoke at all? What breaks a family faster? Losing someone, or being told to move on? A quiet living room. Sunlight cutting across an untouched chair. Ava's room stayed exactly the same. Shoes by the door. Phone charger still plugged in. Time moved everywhere else, but not here. They weren't grieving a death. They were grieving uncertainty. Denise Holloway stopped sleeping. Every sound felt like footsteps returning too late. Hope became painful, but giving it up felt worse. Days without answers. Robert Holloway avoided the street where Ava vanished. Not from fear, but from shame. He believed daylight should have protected her. Didn't. When Detective Sean Whitaker brought updates, they weren't answers. Just softer ways to say nothing had changed. No suspect. No direction. No permission to stop waiting. Case status. Stalled. Then the call history came back again. Reviewed. Replayed. Slowed. Ava's voice. Steady. Calm. Cut off at the exact moment she said one word that never reached the other end. Last word. Unfinished. Denise heard it once and collapsed. Because that word wasn't fear. It was recognition. Who was Ava about to name, before the world went quiet again? What if Ava wasn't afraid at all, because she trusted the wrong moment? Visual. A still frame of a crosswalk signal paused between colors. Ava had plans for that evening. She texted about dinner. She joked about being late. She believed she had time. Investigators rebuilt her final minutes second by second. Not panic. Not haste. Just a young woman moving through a familiar space, assuming the world would keep its promises. No signs of distress. Ava helped strangers without thinking twice. She remembered birthdays. She called home even when nothing was wrong. Kindness wasn't something she performed. It was who she was. That's what makes this hurt. Because nothing about her final moments suggests she sensed danger. She didn't brace herself. She didn't pull away. She didn't protect her back. Trust was her weakness. Denise later said the hardest part wasn't the waiting. It was realizing Ava likely smiled just before disappearing, still believing she was safe. Last known emotion. Calm. That calm wasn't ignorance. It was innocence. If Ava didn't feel fear, who made sure she never had the chance to? The most painful clue wasn't what Ava did. It was what was done after she vanished. A calendar page flipping forward. Days passed without resistance from whoever took her. No noise. No mistake. Just silence settling into routine. Someone was comfortable with her absence. Detective Sean Whitaker noticed it first. Tips slowed too quickly. Concern faded too neatly. People returned to errands while Ava's name stopped being spoken out loud. Public interest. Fading. For Denise Holloway, time became cruel. Every morning began with hope and ended with guilt, for still believing Ava might come home. Waiting hurts more than knowing. Robert Holloway watched strangers avoid eye contact. Not out of sympathy but discomfort. Ava's disappearance reminded them how fragile normal really was. Then Whitaker found something unsettling. Not evidence, behavior. The town adjusted too fast, like her absence fit into someone else's plan. Silence isn't neutral. Ava wasn't forgotten by accident. She was being allowed to disappear. Who benefits when a town learns how to stop looking? What if the town didn't lose interest? What if it was taught to? A wide shot of familiar streets, unchanged, indifferent. Nothing about the town shifted. Shops opened. Traffic flowed. Life learned how to step around Ava's absence. Disappearance became routine. Detective Sean Whitaker felt it during interviews. Answers shortened. Eyes drifted away. People spoke carefully, not from fear, but from rehearsal. Tone shift. Defensive. Someone reminded witnesses they'd already done their part. Someone suggested it was time to let the professionals handle it. Concern turned into quiet pressure. Unspoken rule. Stop asking. For Denise Holloway, the change was devastating. She wasn't met with support anymore. She was met with patience. The kind reserved for people who won't accept reality. Hope treated like denial. Whitaker traced conversations, not movements. He found the same reassurance spreading, soft, reasonable, calming. The kind that doesn't argue. The kind that convinces people they imagined urgency. Ava didn't vanish alone. She was followed by silence. Who benefits when everyone learns the same sentence? There's nothing more to do. At the same time, the final clue wasn't hidden. It was staring everyone in the face. A mailbox swinging gently in the wind, undisturbed for days. Ava's last known location revealed something overlooked. A single receipt. A name scratched into its corner. That small detail shifted everything. Justice had been waiting quietly. Detective Sean Whitaker pieced it together. Every contradiction, every fading witness memory, every rushed assumption, connected. The person who exploited daylight and trust had left one trace too many. Key suspect identified. Nathan Brooks, the unseen presence, finally surfaced. His alibi crumbled under the evidence that was always there but ignored. Confronted, he confessed. Not in rage, not in fear, but in the quiet certainty of a plan undone. Truth revealed. Denise Holloway finally heard Ava's story in full. The weight on her chest lifted, not completely, but enough to breathe. Robert Holloway walked the streets again, not searching for shadows, but noticing life moving safely past them. Closure. Achieved. Ava's kindness, her calm, her trust. They weren't exploited in vain. Justice came not with vengeance, but with truth finally shining in the daylight she believed would protect her. The camera pans over the streets where it all began, sunlight cutting through the trees. A town learning to remember, to watch, and to act. For more haunting stories and justice revealed, Subscribe to the Veil of Secret. Justice served. Mystery closed. Memory honored.